Hi, everybody. I am talking to musician, rapper, and my friend, Greedy G,
What up?
here in Soham, the beating heart of the new style of music sweeping the United Kingdom. All right. Yeah,
Sweet.
well, it will do, won't it?
Yeah, one day. One day.
All right, go on then. Tell me, Greedy, tell me about Fenland bass.
We kicking right off into it, yeah.
Let's go right into it.
Kick. Shut up. Yeah, as long as it just stay in it. So was it Fenland Basin?
Fenland bass, tell me about that. That's the first genre I ever associated with you.
Um, so like I do all kinds of music, but Fenland Bass is like my own thing I've sort of done, which ties into everything I'm doing as well. But
People use that term, though. You know, like it's floating around.
partly because of me, but
Yeah.
um, well, because of me, really. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
What defines it? That's really my
yeah,
question.
no, I'm not even getting into it. So like, yeah, Fenland Bass, is it's a style of music, but it's also a feeling. So for me, it's like with jungle. It's like with any genre. It's got a set of rules to it, but at the end of the day, for me, it's a feeling. It's a style of DJing as well and shit.
I was gonna say I associated you first with DJing and stuff like that. I remember we went to like I was in a band a while ago, and we went to one of your gigs, and I remember we ate some edible marijuana. It was a
Yes.
really intense
Yeah, is it the shit? Yeah.
experience, and
Yeah.
I just remember thinking like you have really good crowd work. You had a really good ability to like not manipulate, but get everyone in the room on your
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
And was Fenland based more about that and less about songwriting and the
Well,
kind of thing you're doing now?
well, the songwriting and making like the straight hip hop rap shit, which I also tired of, because for all of this is like about regional sounds.
Yeah.
Like I like in America where it's like this. Oh shit,
So
you
right.
know what I'm saying?
It's fine.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
drop.
fine.
But the South has like your New Orleans, you got bounce, and like Atlanta's like trap. And you got Memphis style rap.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And then you go to the West Coast, and it's like G Funk and hyphy. If you go in like the Bay and that, it's basically the same shit around here. But I want to do it for England because in England there is that. It's like go Bristol's like drum and bass. You go up north, it's like bass line and donk and shit like that. And then you go down south and like London sort of areas like jungle and like shit like that and
Jungle,
grime.
yeah,
But
definitely.
for me, I growing up as well because my dad was a DJ. So he knew like the DJs who were local to like round here, and round here is like their local sort of legends. A lot of them DJs are.
Sure, yeah.
And so, and the style of music they would play is like in the east of England, which ties into Fenland bass, and then also just ties into the rap music I make as well, and everything I do, which we'll get into. But
Definitely.
they would play a lot of soul music, specifically a lot of like disco and like boogie and like funk and like rare groove.
Right. I
Um,
remember one day you'd invite me to like a kind of a hardcore rap show,
yeah,
and then a couple of weeks later you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this like 70s disco
yeah.
thing," you
But
know.
when we play that soul music specifically as well, we also play it next to in round here. I always associate we play the soul music, but then we'll play like old school rave tunes next to it, like a lot of late 80s, early 90s, like acid house, hardcore breakbeat,
Sure,
and
yeah, yeah,
techno,
yeah.
bass and bleep, and then mix it in with like electro and garage and house
I
and
remember you telling me like, "Oh, that's an 808 drum kit or whatever," when we
yeah,
were
yeah,
listening to
yeah.
music. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, it all ties to that, and then also Fenland bass ties in with the hip hop stuff because which then how it also ties into Savage Streets and my style is like late 80s, early 90s sort of hip hop tunes. Like, and when it comes to Fenland bass specifically, it's more the faster ones, tunes like Raw by Big Daddy Kane or Rob Bass and Easy Rock, it Takes Two, or
Oh yeah.
Sugar Bear Don't Scandalize. Like Sugar Bear Don't Scandalize Mine is like a tune you could play in like Cambridge or even at a night out in Soham,
Yes,
and you
yeah,
can
yeah.
play Don't Scandalize Mine, and the room's going to go the fuck off. And that's the thing as well, which ties in everything, is trying to put this part of England that, like I was saying earlier,
Regional identity is
yeah,
like a part of it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because how I've said this area has been neglected. You
Yeah,
know,
this area is
it's
weird.
undocumented. It's not spoken about enough.
Just before we went and started rolling, you were telling me about how people. Well, I said like people think about Cambridge and it's rich because the university. People think about Norwich is where people go on holiday and
Yeah,
all that
Great
stuff.
Yarmouth. And,
Great
like,
Yarmouth.
yeah,
But the little towns in between those places, like Southern where we live,
Yeah.
it is pretty neglected. Like there's basically no police station in
No.
there is no police station in
Thank
Southern
fuck.
rather.
But
Yeah. You'd be in
They
jail.
used they used yeah, they used to be. They
Yeah.
used to be, but thank God they're in. Yeah.
But I remember thinking during the pandemic, like this is just anarchist because the police
Oh, yeah.
don't just come out anymore.
No.
They have to have like really good reason to come out.
Well, they
'cause
have a
they're
good.
scared
Well,
of
it's
getting
also
the
because
virus.
it's
The virus.
also because like police in general don't like coming down here because that means they've either got to get someone who's in Ely probably dealing with someone, or
Yeah,
they've got to get someone
Ely's the
from
nearest city.
10 minutes down the road, even though it's only a city because the cathedral. If anything, it's a small town.
It's a town. Yeah,
If you want a
it's
city,
a posh town, really, isn't it?
well,
Like,
yeah,
much more
yeah.
upper class than here.
Yeah,
Whereas,
Ely used to just be just straight out the fens sort of shit. I mean, you got High Barnes and that, you know, in terms of like more working class, lower class areas, but Salem is a working class stronghold.
absolutely,
You know,
yeah,
as with a lot of like towns and villages in the fens still.
I tell you what, there's like in Newmarket Newmarket's another town near here.
Yeah,
It's especially like this where you've got one street where there's all these big houses and the rich people and the dentists and the doctors and the lawyers and whatever, and then the whole rest of the town is like council houses and like new builds and maybe some old houses.
and the dynamic's weird round here where like it's sort of that oldie sort of working class where like you can have someone who like owns their house but they could be in absolute dire poverty. Like
That's true.
Like growing up as a kid, there was a lot of there was a lot of kids I knew who would have like, you know, decent houses, but like the fucking, you know, they're struggling. Like,
Yeah.
Like that's where it's different to like
Well, that's what it was like when I was a kid. Like with my family's like quite comfortable now.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, it was like, well, we have a house, but we don't really have anything else.
Yeah.
You know, we
Yeah.
can't really afford to go on holiday. Maybe we'll drive down Cornwall.
Yeah, same with me, yeah.
Exactly. And but I wanted to ask you about Sohan because we've just listened to your new album, which I think is not out yet.
No,
It will come out sort of the next couple of months.
Yeah.
And before the end of the year, you told me.
It will be before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Guarantee you right there.
And
fuck off. Fuck off. It will. I said before December 31st.
Yeah. I set myself the exact same target in 2022. I was like, I've been messing around with this album for like over a year, 2 years, 3 years. I just want it out by the end of this year. Okay. But we just listened to that, and there's all these samples of like people having fights in the pub or arguments and that kind of thing, and some of it scripted, as I understand, and some of it is real.
I've just taken bits from where I can get it, really, all sorts. You know, samples. Like sampling's like a thing. That's my shit. You know, that's how I make.
You will sample dialogue from a movie just as easily as you'll sample like a drum beat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, completely. And it goes back to my influences. Like my favorite hip hop group of all time, and then my favorite albums of all time are by Public Enemy.
Sweet. Yeah.
Them albums is literally the same thing as these heavy beats, and then it's just these really cool song concepts, but there's loads of vocal samples around it and just bits and bobs that bring it all together.
I feel like you've taken it to another level though, or it's not just another level, but maybe it's more recognizable. It's more east of England. It's more like home.
Well, yeah, but basically, yeah, it's like I've absorbed so much music, but I want to make the whole back to the Fenland Bass thing. The whole regional thing is like making it a key thing because Fenland Bass, like I said, is that mixture of all them styles and all them styles of music I said about that are all mixed together to make this one style, because there's a style of DJing where it ties into a new thing I'm doing called Beggars, which is like, you know, it will be a stronghold for the east of England, but I want to do Beggars everywhere. It's going to be like the Black Panther Party of fucking like motives.
Okay, yeah.
We've got like a Beggars base in like Bristol, and there's one in fucking like up north somewhere. And
sure.
Shit. Like that's the dream. I mean, it might not go that far, but it's the whole point of Beggars is like how everyone's shutting down events and it ties into like areas like this which are neglected.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, and it's like I beg for the motive.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you a story. In Argentina, where I was spending most of the first half of this year with my girlfriends from there. Like, I speak Spanish. I've got this. I work for this magazine over there. I've got this like sort of freelance.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of friends over there now, and when I was over there, I noticed something very different to the UK, which is that, I mean, in Solent maybe, but in a lot of places in the UK, it's not. No, I'll tell you what it's like in Argentina. In Argentina, people go out to a gig where they don't know who's playing because it's like the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And that means that every single club, every single venue, every artist that goes and plays something has a big crowd, like a really big crowd. Like people that, and they don't have the same health and safety stuff. There's like people smoking joints in the venue, you know, and like and so many small acts are able to make a living because, I mean, you would be really successful in Argentina. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because you do a load of gigs, and every time you show up to a gig, because it's the cool thing to do, people go on dates to gigs and all sorts of stuff without knowing the artist.
Sounds like a vibe, yeah.
Without knowing art, it made me think, like, is this what the UK was like in the 1980s, back when new wave was a big thing? And
Well,
and
I think also the dynamic being that the UK is also just in general a stronghold of like the party with the DJ. Like we have long, like mainly thank God to just general discotheques being set up in France and it being brought over here, but also Jamaican sound system culture as well, which ties, which is,
that's a
you
big
know,
part of it.
which ties in so heavily to everything that even goes on in this country. Like the rewind comes from that, so it's like something that's undeniable. But it is a party country or it's a party region or whatever you want to say, like, you know, and that's probably
here in York, like the sort of Yorkshire, like Leeds and stuff like that.
London heavily as well, but London's for fuck's sake, it's the capital. So of course, you know, and because of that, we end up in London.
I used to be in a band that would tour around London, and it is also true that you can go and play a gig in London, and loads of people can show up unexpectedly, or no one can show up.
Yeah,
you can have three people dancing like
it's a coin toss, definitely.
And definitely. I would just say, like, I don't know. In Buenos Aires, there's this thing of like it's just a culturally like cool thing to do to go to a gig rather than say go to a club.
Yeah,
people don't go to clubs quite as much. There are clubs, but I would say like the club that we went to was about as busy as all the gigs we went to. It's kind of an equilibrium, really. Whereas I feel like we're a little bit biased towards the club side of things rather than to go and listen to artists.
Yeah.
We want to hear the same songs that we already know.
Yeah. I mean, in the 70s, that was probably a bigger thing over here, like the pub rock.
I was thinking like with New Order and those like those bands that whole wave of new wave of music.
But I think just the rave and the club culture and over here just took over, because when people talk about clubbing, for me, there's two sides to it. You got your bourgeois fucking dress code. Everyone comes out for a nice night and it's real standard music. And sometimes you'll get places like that are real hipster like, and they'll play like, underground stuff. But then the whole other side is you'll get dingier sort of clubs, like big up MOT in London. Excuse me again.
So wait, so how would you say like the small town background has influenced your music itself apart from the samples?
I mean, the samples, if anything, that's my dad, and then me just exploring. But in terms of music wise, but
some of the themes as well.
Yeah, no, but it that was because I've always been like just sort of fascinated by the area, but also my dad was, because my dad's a bit of a history buff. So like he likes history in general, but he likes his local history as well.
Oh, that's really interesting. I remember seeing him in the store, in the shop.
In the store.
Yeah. I was down at the convenience store.
Nah.
No, in Asda. And he said to me something about, because I don't know, I told him I was studying Spanish or I was studying a language or something like that. And he said, "Oh, did you know that his brother, I think, or your uncle,
Yeah, I was about to
is
say.
the linguist who
Yes.
studies the language of this area and how it's
Yeah, so
specifically
I was literally about
evolved from German and stuff like
I
that
was
in a
about to
different
go on
way.
to that. Yeah, so I mean, I've tapped into the
Can I
history of
just
it.
say the accent from this area is super interesting. To me, it sounds like Australian almost, like
Well,
working class accent.
that is because the transportation, like a
Mm.
main hotspot for transportation was the east of England.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
Bloody hell, that's incredible.
it is something that I've tried to look into, and I've seen bits where people have linked it together. But I would love to see a proper study on it because there is the amount of people who said I sound Australian. Who my granddad has a my granddad, God rest him dead. He fucking I ain't religious, but fucking like
No, I'm. He was lovely, man.
yeah, no, big up my granddad. Yeah, he always used to tell me a story. He went to the Lake District, and people thought he was Australian.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, what I mean? And he had a real broad
No,
accent,
no.
broader than mine.
There's something about the East of England accent in the lower class, in the working class, that does sound very Australian. Um, yeah, I think my girlfriend said the same thing,
Yeah,
or someone I know from another
yeah,
country said the same thing.
yeah. Like the accent for like the Fens is like sort of like someone try to because sometimes people mistake it for West Country or just straight up Cockney or
Yeah,
like, you know.
Cockney, definitely.
But but what it is like it's like how if you told someone tell the difference between an American accent or a Canadian accent, you know,
It can be hard.
there's a lot of there's similarities,
I think before
you know,
Jordan Peterson, no one
yeah,
had any idea what a Canadian sounded
yeah,
like.
oh yeah. But fucking and even in the east of England, it's like you'll go to Norwich and Norwich or Suffolk or Cambridgeshire or even like South Lincolnshire or a bit of Essex and like it all has the same sort of thing going on, but it's very different. Like Norwich is
Yeah.
very oi like this, and like they like in
Yes.
Norwich they'll say instead of mother they'll be like morver. That's my morver.
Wow.
It's shit like this a lot more like that. And then Suffolk,
Well,
and
sounds like mujer,
yeah.
like the Spanish word for woman.
Mm.
Wow.
But then, like, you go to Suffolk, and like because Salem's right on the Suffolk border, so so
Yes.
it depending on what side of the fens you're on, because there's this whole other own district in the east of England.
Yeah.
It's like it sort of shares.
It's weird that, isn't it? And then
Yeah.
Newmarket, if you look at the
Newmarket, yeah.
counties, the county of Cambridgeshire is like this Pac-Man shape, and then Newmarket is part of
Just wrap round it. Yeah.
it's sort of inside it in a way.
Yeah, Salem's just right on that Fenland border. Like as soon as you leave Salem, you go towards Fordham or Newmarket, it's not Fen anymore. But you go to Burwell, Wickham, or like Streatham, Salem, Isleham, that's Fens. But you know, like the accent on this side is more Suffolky, but if you go towards the more Norfolk side of the Fens, which is like Chatteris, you got March, you got
Chatteris. Oh,
yeah.
sure. Yeah,
And like the
yeah.
accent's a lot more. It's Fenland, but it's Norfolk Fenland.
Yes.
You know it, and it change. It
I
just
do
it
know what you
changes
mean.
because where everyone's been isolated as well from the flooding. It's like only certain phrases will get spoke on one side of the fens compared to another side of the fens.
That's right. I think smart people generally can kind of understand how language evolves, like
Mm.
over year. Like I mean, even like you guys, the studio, you guys have your own little in jokes and slang and stuff like that. And just imagine that on the level of a
Yeah,
town, but then with years and years and
yeah,
years and years of evolution. Without, for the most part, we've only really
yeah,
had television for 80 years.
yeah.
We've only had the internet for 30 years.
And that's why my accent isn't as probably as broad as it could be. Because I even hear myself slipping in the like little other bits, but that is because I'm just of that generation that grew up with the like. If I grew up in my dad's generation, then maybe I'll be a bit broader.
I feel a bit sad sometimes thinking about how, like, I used to work with a guy called Wayne, who has a very strong Soham accent.
Yeah,
And it made me feel a bit sad thinking about how I like, for example, the polar opposite is I know a girl from Ely, called Eden, and she pronounces things like an American.
yeah.
She pronounces some words like an American.
I think that's just her being fucking stupid.
No, she's a very smart person.
Yeah.
It's just that she's
Well, is she American?
grown up with she's grown up indoors, not really going out too much.
Well, there you go. Then there you go. Because I grew up in the fucking like just where my dad would take me to the pub as a kid.
I was amazed by how confident you were going out when you were like 18. Because I remember being 18, I was thinking like, God, I remember needing to kind of have someone else there for me to
Yeah.
talk to a stranger. Whereas you're just like, all right, cunt. You know.
Another thing that ties in is like some I can't speak for the rest of the fens because like I've been to other places but I've never hung out in somebody. I generally know what they're like, but
Yeah.
Salem is is a party town. We've
It
not
really
got,
is.
we've not got a lot going on, so everyone just wants a fucking motive.
Yeah.
And whenever there is a motive on, depending, if it's if it's a good, if everyone's drank the right water maybe or something, like it's a good night.
That's it.
Like you've been down, like you said, you've been down the ship. Like the one we did the other week was fucking rammed, and it's a mixture of people. You get the older lot, the younger lot.
So hang on, what's your relationship like with the people in town? And I don't just mean you, I mean like as an artist or the music. Like, are you inspired by people?
Oh yeah.
You told me once that you got everyone to sing, like, "We're from Soham."
Well, it was more. I kind of got the ball rolling on that, and we'd done it live in town a couple of times. There's a song that's not out yet, but and people caught on to it because I think because it stems from a Roy Ayers tune called "We Live in Brooklyn."
Yeah.
So the original is "We live in Brooklyn, baby," and
we're gonna make it, baby. Yeah.
And I was like, that would be great for Soham because it's the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
People love Soham, but they also know the dark elements.
Yeah.
But it's not because I wouldn't say specifically because Soham's just dark. It's just it is a rural town in rural England that is there's
people are a little bit more animalistic. There's a little bit less of that like refinement. Like when you go to Cambridge, like this is the thing about accents. Like my accent,
big divide that no one talks about.
My accent is very absolutely, but my accent's very much more posh because I went to school in Cambridge and then I went to university in a few different places and then I came back and I worked for Cambridge University as a technician.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of just gotten used to pronouncing things in a rather more sort of BBC kind of
yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
But like you get a few drinks in me and I'm like fucking this and whatever.
Is that the fucking time about?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, like, do you think that the dark side of Soham or like the kind of stuff that goes on in this town has influenced your first album? Because I think
definitely, definitely. It's not even a question. It's not to say. I mean, Soham's a dark place, but it's not a dark place because it's Soham. There's systemic shit going on here, and then also just in general, the just humans in general.
Yeah, people, absolutely,
just people. But it's also a systemic thing.
People everywhere. The same thing in Argentina. Yeah. There's a bunch of towns that they just don't pay any attention to.
It's neglected. Mental health services are neglected. Classism in this country is fucking rife.
Classism is insane.
Yeah.
Because the difference between our accents, we could have the same qualifications and I would get a job and maybe you wouldn't.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Seriously.
No, it's a genuine thing, especially around here because we've got Cambridge next to us. A lot of people don't like to talk about, well, not like they just don't think about it, but like the divide between someone who could grow up in Cambridge, even if someone grows up working class in Cambridge.
Yeah.
It's different than if you live in like Soham or you live in like Ely, or if you live in Littleport or you live in.
God help you if you live in like Batley, like a small town in Yorkshire or something.
I mean, even them towns got it worse. Yeah. They got it worse than us because for our thing has been agricultural, but the eroding of shit around here has started way before.
You know what was amazing? The train station in our town got blown up in the Second World War.
It was an accident.
It was an accident. They were carrying ammunition. It caught fire or something. And it blew up.
It was just a sort of shit happened sort
of. And this guy like got his legs blown off, and he crawled to the town to warn them like this train full of explosives is approaching the station. But they couldn't save the train station, right? So it took 80 years for our politicians to build a new train station in this town.
Well, actually, tell a lie.
20,000 people.
When it blew up, they did build it again, and then they shut it down in 1960.
Is that true? Yeah. I didn't know that.
It was rebuilt, and then they shut it down in 1960.
But every politician ran on the platform. No pun intended. Of building a new platform for the train.
But like Isleham had a train station at one point. Most of the towns and villages had a connection to the railway.
I used to go out with a girl who lived in Lode, and Lode used to have a train station, and that's got like 3 people.
Yeah.
Like 3 people in Lode. Yeah. But we have this insane situation. I don't want to get too political with you, really, because we've got more interesting, deeper stuff to talk about.
The album,
whatever people say, art and culture are way, way deeper than politics. Politics is actually kind of superficial, where it's like
art and culture is the visceral, like fucking experience of like being.
Yeah, it's an expression of life, right?
my whole thing is like people don't realize how fucking booky just existing is, and having to exist with like
Yes.
other people as well.
Yeah,
who are
yeah,
also
yeah.
existing just like you.
I know, I know, I know, and but politically, it's this crazy thing where every politician said that they built a station, and then they sort of didn't, and then eventually they built a new station, but there's only one train every 2 hours,
Mm.
and it's like it's this weird thing. They sort of only built half the station, right? They're sort of you go over the platform and you just
Yeah.
end
Well,
up in this
it's
field
like
full of cows.
I don't really mind that too much. My more problem, I kind of like that, but my problem was just
Yeah.
the times on it. It's just every 2 hours. I wish it was quicker.
And I always look on Google and it says, oh, it's at like 47, and I think, okay, I have to get there for 47, and then or 51, sorry, 51. I always get there for 51, and then it turns out the real train time was 49. I missed it by 30 seconds, some shit like that. But anyway. The real it's insane. Like the government, the government takes 48% of the GDP of this country,
Brother, you
and
ain't
then
got
they
to tell me
spend it on
twice.
paperwork. They
You
spend
ain't-
it on
brother,
bullshit, and they
you
don't
ain't-
actually help anyone.
You ain't got to tell me twice about governments being like, it's yeah,
I don't even know what they spend it on, to be honest. Sometimes I think that they haggle
bullshit.
upwards.
Bullshit.
They haggle in reverse.
Sending weapons to blow up fucking previous
Children,
colonies
yeah,
in
yeah.
Africa, like
Oh
fucking
my
doing some
god!
dead shit.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
But
Should we,
Alright.
should we get onto the album?
let's go on to the actual album, because I
Yeah.
have a bunch of questions that I wrote down just before this, and we just listened to Greedy G's new album, The Grim Reaper. It should be coming out before the end of the year, and
Yeah.
it is really good. I've heard it several times. It's really like a new take on rap. Like, I'm not the biggest rap fan. I'm more in the rock scene, as some people watching this will know. But it's truly like I believe that there is art in all genres, and I do think that this is what I would consider art. And I don't mean that in a pretentious way. Like, I would say, like, a bunch of stuff that people think is trashy is actually art. Like, we were just talking about Italian exploitation movies from the 70s. Some of those are art.
That's
Like
my jab.
Lucio
That's my jab.
Fulci and Dario Argento, they
Some
made
of my favorite directors, like Bruno Mattei, like it is like they're trashy, but it is fucking brilliant.
It's amazing. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
brilliant.
And they say something kind of deep. You know this if you like Quentin Tarantino's movies, because he's more inspired by those directors than he is by Steven Spielberg or someone like that.
Scorsese,
Scorsese,
to be
whatever.
fair, Scorsese make great films. But
Scorsese, yeah, I'm not against like Spielberg or Scorsese, but
no. But I know what you're saying.
yeah.
But yeah, the album, yeah.
My next question was going to be about. Well, actually, I have two sort of questions I'm going to ask at the same time, and then I've got another one which you're going to really like.
Word.
Yeah. It's
Word.
about words, actually. but,
Yeah, cool.
but the first one, okay. So you do use a lot of samples, but you also use the keyboard that you've got and MIDI and stuff like that. And I wondered how that links together. And then I also wonder how samples versus scripted stuff links together in terms of the background of your songs. Like, in between one song, there'll be like this audio from like people having a go at each other in a pub or something like that, and it really makes the songs feel like they're happening in reality. It makes me feel like I'm down the pub listening to him DJing like 5 years ago, and I'm wondering how you come up with that. Is there supposed to be a story to the album, or like a narrative?
There is a narrative to the album. But in terms of what you said, how it links, like, what do you mean where it all like links together?
Well, you would have a song, and then it would go into a sample or a scripted bit or something.
Well, that is also just.
Is it like a film? Is it like a film?
It's like no, it is like a film. Like, everything I make is very cinematic. Because that is another aspiration, is to make films.
I was going to come to that.
That bullshit. But but in terms of this, it's like a lot of the time the sample is there for the vibe. Like, if I put a sample of like someone having a scrap in a pub, it's there to add to the feel of the song. Like, already my lyrics, I want to like create an image in your mind, and then I can have this sample, this freaky sample of like something happening, whether it's from a film or real life, and it's just there for the vibe.
How many of them are real? Because if anyone goes and listens to Greedy's album after this, you'll hear a lot of these samples of like, "Oi mate, what you saying? You know, you say that kid about my mum or whatever," and it's like in between the songs. It almost feels like you're listening to the album within like a pub environment in the rural part of Cambridgeshire that we're from, and it feels real. It feels like it's really happening.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it is. It is just meant to be that. It's just meant to make you sit there and be like, "Oh, I'm stuck in this right now." Like
Yeah.
I made the album to be deliberately uncomfortable to a point. Um, I think a lot of art is meant to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we were just talking about
Um,
Tarantino. Like the amount of uses of the N word in the Django Unchained movie. It's like, well, he's saying
yeah.
something about history.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. It's one of them things, but there's so. I mean, you look at most
Or
art.
Videodrome. We were
Yeah,
just talking about Videodrome. I made a video
yeah,
about Videodrome yesterday.
yeah.
Like,
You look at
it's
most art.
so uncomfortable
Yeah,
sometimes.
because it makes you question like yourself. Because a lot of it is like I don't like how people like the. I feel like a lot of the human race in general, nowhere specific, just in general. Our whole thing is like we know there's this like inherent ugliness in us, but I feel like we run away from it, and we run away from it like a lot.
We do.
I
We
just don't.
pretend that
I
we're
just
civilized
yeah.
and all this stuff.
I hate the idea of like because like a lot of people say the truth hurts, and I hate it because like these right wing pundits just fucking like use it to say some like
Facts don't care about your feelings.
like fuck that shit. Like the harsh truth is that like humans do ugly shit to each other, and
Yeah.
people get traumatized, and then if the trauma isn't worked out, people then can go on.
Yes. Like we look at what Israel's doing in Palestine. I just think, isn't that just a trauma response? Because the Jewish people are traumatized by World War II.
Yeah, there'll be a big,
and so they're like, well, it's okay when we do it.
That'll play into it, but again, like with everything, it's not just one thing. There's always, you peel back the layers, there's a core to it. But something like the Palestine, like Israel.
Well, you know how in the media, like
Yeah.
I just made a kind of a left wing point. If I make a right wing point now, like people in the media will often talk about like, oh, everyone I don't like is a Nazi or is Hitler. It's like, well, that tells me that there's a bit of trauma going on with World War II.
Well, yeah,
like we're traumatized by World War II.
I think a lot of it as well, just the world we live in now is buzzwords.
Yes.
Shit. Like there are people out there.
Speaking of that, sorry, do you want to finish your point?
I was just going to say, just like buzzwords, just we live in extreme times. So like using extreme words, it's one of those things where they become so meaningless. But this is like a point anyone could fucking make.
No, yeah, that's it. I just saw a thing where it was like, well, the parties that are the biggest parties in the UK now. So we've had if you're from America or somewhere else, we've had a two-party system for a long time with the Conservatives and the Labour Party. And the recent polls show that actually the battle is between the Liberal Democrats and the Green Party, who are kind of left-wing parties. The Liberal Democrats want to bring Britain back into the EU, and the Green Party, I mean, I'm not really sure what they want. They want to tax the rich, I guess. And the Reform Party.
I'm a Green Party support. I mean,
I support taxing the rich, but I don't support taxing them so much that they just leave the country, because then we actually have less money.
There's that, and then it's also just
it's really tough.
I like to think I'm a very class conscious sort of person.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
ain't got no time for
But you can say like a lot of the what's really happened in Britain is that the right wing has taken the working class from the left, and now it's the Reform Party who are talking to the right.
Reform, they're panderous. Like Nigel Farage is a fucking private school boy.
Well, I made
he
a
hangs
video.
out he hangs out the front of pubs, and he like does this whole thing. Was like, oh
yes, he's a finance guy. He's a finance billionaire. Yeah, no, not billionaire, but like millionaire.
No, yeah, he's a dickhead.
I think Nigel Farage is a Machiavellian snake who will manipulate absolutely anyone to get what he wants. I made a video about that called Polemics.
He will. He's a fucking slimy little bastard, and we don't.
He really is. Everyone who I know who has met him has said that he was just horrible to them in person.
Yeah, no.
Like, are you important? Yeah. I don't think you're important.
It's one of these.
Fuck off.
It's one of these things.
Like, oh, thanks, Nigel. I thought you were going to save us.
What is like gross about it is just the manipulation, like of vulnerable people. So like the lower class, the working class. That's more.
Yeah, because they'll vote for anyone because they know they can't trust Labour. Because
if you exploit people's vulnerabilities in the capitalist world we fucking live in, it's all about status, and if you exploit that status, especially for blokes, they're going to go fucking nuts, and that's what you're looking at right now.
That's right. Shit. Because I think there's a mixture of. It makes
We
you
don't
feel
have the
what's going on.
American dream, but in England we have a similar thing.
We have a similar thing. We used to have a similar thing for a long time, and nowadays I feel it's gotten muddy to this point where actually what I wanted to ask you about was power words. I call this thing power words. I'm gonna read a little quote from your album.
This ties into the
This ties into it absolutely. Buzzwords, power words.
yeah.
So when I write albums or I write songs,
Yeah.
I'm conscious of when I'm gonna use a phrase that's really powerful, that speaks to lots of people in different ways, and I know that different people are going to interpret it differently. I'm
Yeah,
going to
of
read a
course.
little quote from your album. No place is safe. Fuck mates, date rapes, gate crash, safe space, human race. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah, that is pretty much. There might be a bit
I
missing.
think I
but
missed
that's
one
pretty
little
much there.
phrase,
It's pretty much there.
but all those phrases make people feel something
Yeah.
really powerful. You know,
Yeah.
like whether it's date rape or safe space or human race.
Yeah.
We feel something strongly when we hear that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, your album has a really powerful phrase like that, like every 3 seconds. Like
Thank God.
Angel Dust is a really powerful one. Like just stuff like that. I mean, because obviously Angel Dust is PCP, like phencyclopyrimidine or something. Like a cat. It's like a ketamine that lasts 12 hours.
Put it this way, PCP will send you fucking loopy. It's crazy.
But, I mean, I think PCP. The trouble with it is people do a dose that's way higher than what you should take because you should measure out like a few milligrams. But people are like, "All right, give me a line," and they do like 100 milligrams, and it lasts like a whole day if you do that.
But powerful words, like
powerful words like that, because angel dust is slang for that. But it also makes you think of religion. It makes you think of what's good and evil. It makes you think of
which is a lot of this album as well. Is
yes,
that whole who the fuck really has a moral compass?
Sometimes I think that your album is really about like people who are animalistic and they just do whatever manipulative thing will get them the most money, power, and pleasure. And and sometimes and versus the people who maybe are listening and I don't know doing the opposite. But there's quite a lot of like, sorry. So Greedy G's first album, which is about to come out, is quite aggressive. It's very much about like the trauma of people living in small towns like this one, and
in general, because the shit that happens in this album could happen in the city, but it happened in little different. Like the city versus rural life is a different dynamic.
Yeah, it's a bit more dehumanizing, isn't it? The city life where you just like you can break off a relationship with someone and never see them again.
Yeah,
that won't happen here. Everyone knows everyone.
I can tell you about that. Fuck me, yeah.
But yeah, how do you come up with these phrases, and do you think about them in terms of like where am I going to put this or something like that, or does it just happen?
All three. Everything you just said.
Okay.
It just all for me. It's like whenever I'm making tunes, I'm like, because I listen to so much music. I just listen. Okay, what is the most potent shit I hear on songs I love? You know, and I just put that in there because at the end of the day, I'm making these songs. For me, I'm making songs I want to hear.
Me too. I've been thinking about that lately, like, because I had an EP that got quite popular.
Yeah.
And then I started reflecting. I thought, like, well, if I wanted to make loads of money, I could just double down on this. And I thought, well, I don't want to make loads of money. I don't give a shit. What I actually want to do is make songs that I like listening to and I'm kind of proud of. And I think that a song often has 3 inspirations: something really personal. Something where you've taken from the culture or you've taken from the canon, so like inspiration.
Yep.
And then maybe something else that combines the two that I've forgotten at the moment. What is it? Something personal, maybe something that has a message, like to retwist something into
completely,
something you want to say.
No, you're on the money with that, I say, yeah. No, completely.
I've written a lot of songs as well. I tell you what, I've been reflecting a lot recently on the difference between making an album, which is like, for me, it's like I have to make this perfect listening experience. It has to have this journey. It has to be cinematic, like you said, versus making YouTube videos, which is more like showing up to a job every day and giving it what I can and what I really think. I don't know. Have you got any reflections on that, or did you want to comment on the words thing? Or
no, you're pretty much right on it. It's a lot of thinking. It is a lot of thinking. It is just a lot of. I mean, art is just everyone. It's an eye of the beholder sort of thing. It's like it's all personal, you know. And then, but when you realise, like, even if something's like a unique experience or something, like when you get an artist who comes out with an identity that's not been explored in music, like fully, it's like you end up, there always ends up being an audience who catches on to it. Like, people are more similar than they like to realise.
Yes. Yeah,
We're
that's
all
true.
kind of living very similar lives. We're trying to figure out just what the fuck we're going to do and just how the fuck we're going to do it. And that's where it gets messy.
Do you think that there's certain things that people want? Like everybody kind of wants, I don't
Yeah,
know,
no, human.
camaraderie,
Yeah,
companionship,
well, that's
recognition,
human nature.
love.
That's human nature. That's
Yeah.
human. Like everyone needs that. Like, there are people out there who are exceptions. There's always exceptions, but everyone needs them sort of things.
Or like maybe even happiness as like what is happiness? Maybe happiness is that you don't have to pursue happiness anymore. It's not that you feel happy every day,
Yeah, no,
you
it's
know?
one. I mean, it's one way to look at. I mean, the trouble is everything's fickle, and it can be everything can be
Everything's
looked.
fickle.
It can be looked at from so many different ways because people live different lives.
Mhm.
Just down the road from you, let alone in another country.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's just one of the things where it's just like it is what it is. It's like this is existence, and like we've got to figure it out one way or
Do
another.
you think that a really powerful song, a really popular song, a really big song, a song that speaks to a lot of people,
Mm.
is a song that has something relevant towards an experience that's like maybe a little bit unique, a little bit new,
Yeah,
but it's an experience that lots of people have had, but they don't know how to talk about yet.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
100%. That's rife. It's
I've
rife.
just thought of that, to be
No,
honest.
it's rife. It's like all it takes is just someone when they're making a piece of art, they've just got to present it in a way where people can latch onto it. And that's not even talking about making it more appealing for a mainstream audience. It's just thinking about what is the best way to deliver this. Because I could have made this album and made it a complete mess because
Yeah,
I was going through some proper emotional shit.
sure.
I mean, if you listen to it, you'll probably be like,
No,
"You've got some issues," like But it's one of them things where you do have to just think about how you execute it. Even if you go in there like a bull in the china shop, you've still got to think about how you enter the china shop.
yeah, sure, sure, for
Even if
sure.
you're going in there steaming, it's one of them things. Execution is just key.
Yeah, you know what? Someone told me once, someone I really respect said that you have lots of great ideas, me, and you're really a creative powerhouse, but your execution could be better. And I thought about that a lot. And I thought, like, is he talking about marketing or is he talking about like I don't really know. What do you think he was talking about?
Well, me when I said that,
Yeah, execution.
it's
What is execution to you as opposed to like the creative process or
it's just it's a feeling. It's like when you hear shit in your head and it just feels like it's just hit the nail on the head with
yeah.
what you're trying to say, do, and feel. Like if I like I said with this album, I could have gone in there and I could have made it completely tits up,
It
saying
is
something.
crazy.
Yeah,
It is still crazy.
it is,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
needs because it needs to be that for what it is, but it can't be not arrogant or ignorant. It needs to but
Yes.
that's just me as a person.
That's very well
Is
said.
I'm
Arrogant
not
and
out it
ignorant.
because like in the album you could argue I villainize a lot of people, but the trouble with me is I empathise too much with my villains.
Uh-huh.
Because, like I said, the whole point of the
Interesting.
album, like you brought up in Stan's interviews about cycles of violence and generational trauma,
Yeah.
is because most victims make victims.
Yeah, I heard a statistic that is almost everyone who abuses their children was abused as a child, but
I can speak from that firsthand.
hardly anyone hardly anyone who was abused as a child will go on to abuse their
Yeah,
children, you know?
yeah,
Like no one does it for no reason.
yeah.
They only
No,
do it because it happened to them.
I never like
But not
the
every
yeah.
victim becomes
No,
a villain.
no, because everyone's different. Everyone
Yeah.
has a different experience and picks up on different things, and the way the chemicals balance in their brain, and
Right.
everything's fickle.
And whether they think it's like a part of life that you just do this, or maybe
Mm,
they reflect and they think, wait, that was messed up what happened to me. I never want to do that again
mm.
to anyone else.
No,
You know,
yeah, of course, of course,
sort of two reactions to the same thing.
yeah.
Um yeah, no. I mean, yeah, my question about power words was sort of about the different concepts that you've got. And I'm wondering like where do you get all these concepts from? Is it do you I feel like you guys here, even though you've got this reputation of being kind of the tough guys and the rappers and whatnot, you have a lot of books. Yeah, you guys are smart.
I mean,
know.
if I read, I mean, I'm not a proper bookworm, but like I do like reading, but like non-fiction. But I'm not a big fiction. I can't sit there and read a fucking
No, but I see you've got a book about the art of rave culture. You've got
yeah.
a book on rap. It looks
I've
like.
got a few books.
And I'm
I've
wondering,
got
like,
books about the Fens.
and I hear a lot of concepts in your music where you reference like intergenerational trauma, or you reference like whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, have you learned a lot of things that have been really important for the lyrics that you write later?
Well, the whole point of this album is like it's the death of innocence. So
Ah,
me making this album was the wake up call to how I used to be. So to summarize, if you want to know what the album's really about, it's about domestic violence. It's about the struggle between two people who, or like a family dynamic, or anyone who like have strong feelings towards each other, but violence happens or shit like that. And to speak about real life, I'm not going to go too much into it because I've tried to keep it as anonymous as I can because I don't want any of the people who are involved in this getting harassed.
yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I know who you're talking about with a couple of them songs, and
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh.
It's one of them things was like they don't need the grief.
No, they don't. They don't even deserve it.
No,
You
and
can express it, but
me making this album wasn't like I'm going to get you back or nothing. This is just I need to beat my feelings out because if not, I'm going to go do something fucking stupid that's going to fuck up everything going for me. You know,
I'll put that there.
and I think it's a real thing everyone goes through. You know, that's what I hate is where like people don't think humans have visceral reactions to horrific shit that happens in
Right,
their
they
life.
do.
And
100%
I
they
hate
do.
I hate the escape from it. Like I hate the whole I'm a good person. I would never like do this to someone that's like put any cunt on this planet in the right situations under the right circumstances.
They'll behead a Chinese peasant with a katana, and they'll like
look at
whatever.
any war, look at any war, any genocide. It's there.
Yes,
And
yes.
look at rape culture in general. There are people out there who think like, oh, he's a sound old boy, but he's done some fuck shit.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
and it is
The
right.
more I find, like, every single girl I've been out with has got some sort of story of some guy who I thought like, oh,
brother,
you're going out with him, he must have been right.
brother.
Like,
That
he
is
turns
why
out he's a total twat.
I had to make this album because of that. Because like a big thing, like I think about a lot is rape. I ain't gonna lie, it's rape culture. I have had too many close friends and too many like other acquaintances who have been through.
I'm going to challenge you on that a bit. I'm going to say, do you think it's a culture, or do you think it's people who can't fit into what is the real culture, which is the real culture of dating is like, I bring you flowers and chocolates and everything's all right.
The thing is, it's drenched in that though.
Do you think so?
I mean, brother, look at history. We've treated women fucking horribly.
There's been periods that have been really terrible. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's just and this is because what this was is the person who I was acquainted with, who this album was about, is they opened my eyes to a lot of this shit. Like before, I used to be quite ignorant, arrogant about shit. You know, like as a bloke, you're raised in the patriarchy.
And you're what, 21?
I'm 21. I'm going to be 22 in like next week. You know,
I think there's a patriarchal system and there's a matriarchal system as well, and we don't do very well to recognize both.
The thing is, I don't want both because it is at the end of the day, I ain't a hierarchy person. I'm strictly anti-authoritarian.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an anarchist in a sense as well, although
I'm
maybe
not down for
typical...
that. Yeah, I'm not down for that. I don't do these arguments like if you had a matriarchy, you'd be better. It's like no.
There's a bunch of societies like that, and they're not very successful.
No, because what the trouble is that like it just buys into the women are like
we just swap it around. You know, instead of having men dominate women, we've got women dominate men. Like it's not better, is it?
No, the thing is because men and women are the way they are is because they're socially conditioned to be that way.
Well, I think I'm going to push on that as well a little bit. I do think there's something biological. I don't know what it is exactly. I can't say it in a single sentence. It's way too complicated. But I think that society takes advantage of that and manipulates it.
No, which is what I'd say. But I'd say it wasn't. I don't think it's that biological. I think at the end of the day, we're humans and we're here to socialize and we're here to build communities and like shine.
When you say it like that, I agree.
Peace. That is what we are meant to do. But
like, if I was to say my girlfriend is the same as me, I think that's wrong. She's not the same as me. We're pretty different.
No,
But we're
there's
complementary.
differences, but I don't think the differences between men and women are that great.
Do you think that they get
I just think-
exaggerated in a
Yeah,
sense?
they are. Fuck yeah, they're exaggerated.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
exaggerated. Even in media, it's like because people view that shit and then they believe like it's like that and shit. Like, you know, I fucking hate Mary Whitehouse, but I'm not on that train of people watch shit and it makes them act a certain
Oh,
way.
sorry, someone's got a question for you.
Oh.
Sorry, Tatiana, I've
Word.
waited for ages to say this. Does he like Jojo Siwa's new
Oh,
new
fuck
sound?
off! No, Tat, fuck off, you cunt. I didn't even fucking tell her this was doing. Tat, fuck off. Fuck off, Tat. Fucking love you, but fuck off.
What's the context of the question?
Tat.
Do you want to tell them? I'm gonna pop to Lou.
I
you
can't
want to-
lie, I need a piss as well, but fucking nah, Tat is just a good mate of mine. Big up Tat, bless her heart. But fuck off. Lol, hi, yeah, hi Tat. Nah, literally all it is just fucking like she's being a fucking wind up. I don't give a fuck about Jojo fucking Siwa, fucking Disney Channel kid. Fuck off. I don't need that shit. While he's got, I mean, I need a piss as well. I'm gonna roll a fag as well. All the people, we've got 4 people on here. Fucking hell. What's happening, people? What's happening? What's happened? You know. I didn't even fucking tell you about this. How do you know about this? Like, I didn't even turn around and be like, "Oh, I'm doing this thing." Like, come, like, sit in. Like, fuck me, Jesus. It's just a bit of promo, innit? Like, because the album's coming out, innit? I still didn't fucking. Did I send you the album? I think I sent it to you. Must have. Yeah, fucking hell. On the Savage Street. Nah, this might go on the Savage Streets page. It might not. No. I'll send you it later. I'll send you the link and you can put your headphones on, listen to it, because it's all done, it's all mastered and shit. Just in out, yeah, innit? Oh, is this on the Savage Streets? Oh, I'm mad. Didn't even realise. Fair enough. Fair fucking enough. Yeah. Take this as an admission because I can't lie, I do need a piss. I didn't even put it on my story. Yeah, it's on the Savage Street story then, not mine. I can tell you that much.
All right, do you want to go? I'll keep the. We've got to have no dead air, you know. Who's that? What's this for? On your Savage Street page, you have not yet.
I'm literally gonna.
Oh yeah, well look, this is my YouTube channel where I talk about culture and I talk about stuff like that. Just my thoughts on stuff. And obviously I know Seb, I know Greedy G since we were about since he was about 7 and I was about 10. So it was a long time ago. And yeah, we're just hanging out. We're just probably we'll chat until my laptop's battery dies or something like that. So we'll probably talk for another 40 minutes or something like that. Yeah. So I'll talk a bit about his music. So when I was about 19 or 20, no, a bit older than that, maybe 21, and I stopped. I came back from university and I came back to this little town where I grew up, Soham, where Greedy G also lives, and we started hanging out properly because obviously we knew each other when we were kids, but I was like 22, 23, and he was about 18 at that point. So he was kind of like an adult doing his own thing. And I was in a band at that point, like a rock band, and we were writing songs and we just would spend a lot of time together talking about stuff. And I got really interested in the fact that he thought of this genre idea called Fenland Bass that was sort of about the identity of it had something to do with the identity of being from the Fens. And the Fens, if you're not familiar, if you're not from Britain, is an area that was full of water, and they actually had to create this big engineering feat to drain the fens
Internal colonization.
so people could live here. Yeah, exactly, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, basically, it was like there was actually no reason for them to drain the fens. They did it just because they were like, we can occupy this bit of land and we can.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got a whole book.
When
about
did it happen?
It's 1600s to 1800s because the locals wouldn't have any of it. So there was
Wow.
massive resistance to everything.
Wow, that's really
Yeah.
interesting.
No, I've got a whole book about it, but I'm not talking about it on here because I'll go on for too long.
No.
Talk about the album.
No, tell me about that. Yeah. Okay, I've got some more questions for you. So we talked about some of those powerful phrases you use. We talk about whether the samples are real. We talked about how Soam's influenced your music and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I love that. There's a line in this album that's like, "What you doing climbing Jacob's ladder?" That's an amazing reference. There's so many like references to like quite sophisticated stuff, you know. Tatiana says Fen Tigers.
Yeah, that's basically the name of the people who showed resistance around here. That's what they call us, Fen Tigers.
Whoa, that is really interesting. I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Tell me your favorite movies.
Oh, fucking hell. I've got a lot. I have a movie, but I mean, you've seen The Shelf. But some of my favourite films of all time, Total Recall.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, definitely.
The original 1991. I love Total Recall.
My channel's all about sci-fi and how sci-fi is becoming real.
Oh yeah, definitely. Total Recall, RoboCop, love them films. But also I'd say like stuff like I love like there's like just my mind's gone blank. It's fucked up.
Right. I see Alien on there, the first Alien.
Yeah, Aliens on there. I mean, oh fuck, let me have a.
We talked about Doctor Who ages ago, and Doctor Who is really clever because Doctor Who was anywhere and it could be about anything.
No, it was I was a Doctor Who. I mean, I'd consider myself.
I'm showing Doctor Who to my Argentinian girlfriend, and she loves it. She loves it. I think there's two reasons. Like,
have you still got all the DVDs?
I've got a lot of DVDs. Yeah. But we're watching it on iPlayer because I can stream it to her and stuff like that. But I mean, she loves it. She's really into sci-fi, and she's very, very smart. So she gets all the kind of what the episode is really trying to say and stuff like that.
Yeah, word.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, Doctor Who has actually influenced my music to some degree because I kind of think of it as like sort of regenerating what I'm trying to make with the music every single time. For me,
it's world building. My thing is I love world building.
Yes, no, 100%. I would have used the same word, to be honest. I like that you mentioned Total Recall as well. Have you seen 12 Monkeys?
No, I did have it on. I had it on VHS because I used to collect VHS. And I did have it, but I never sat down and watched it.
Is retro something that inspires you, like the retro movement?
I personally don't tie to the nostalgia like train of that shit too much.
You're not 45, so
well, it's also like the younger lot who get into like the Y2K. For me, it's like I just remember going to my nan's and like there'd be shit because my mum's a child of the 80s and 90s, so like I go around there and there's like artifacts, so to speak. And I remember going to my nan's and she had it because I remember growing. I'm old enough to remember videos like VHS.
Me too, yeah.
Like I remember like having them in the house and shit like that. But fucking like, it was just always a viewing experience as a kid to watch something on video. Like it wasn't something alien to me.
Do you remember having to rewind it to the very beginning?
Yeah, all that shit, man. Like it's nothing to me. Like I like video game. Like I've got a fucking NES in the kitchen. There's both PlayStation 1s and 2s there. I've got a Mega Drive at my nan's. Like fucking. Wow. I do like my retro shit, but I'm not on that nostalgia train where it's like. I've got.
You're not afraid of using modern tech. I can see.
No, it's not. It's nothing about. It's just more. I like the feeling and the look and the colors. Especially the colours of it. I love the colours.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Actually,
like red, blues, and like, but I love black and like I mean, I'm not wearing black specifically now, but I wear black maybe all the time. Like,
sure, yeah, me too, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like a monochrome like person, basically.
Yeah.
No, I think the retro stuff, like, it's so funny. Like when this music that started coming out around 2015, 16, 17, 18. that was like trying to be 80s
What the synth pop sort of.
synthwave,
What's the Japanese one where it's like
vaporwave, or
yeah,
but it's like it's actually more 80s than the 80s actually ever was. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of a
It-
reconstruction of
yeah.
the best bits of the 80s turned into like the the music from Scarface.
Yeah.
Like my thing
Push it to
was
the
still-
limit.
The limit.
Yeah.
Walk along the
Yeah.
razor's edge. I know, but like
bangers, man.
it's like so 80s, and what was I gonna say? But it's like they took bits of that sound very typical of the 80s and then turned that into a whole genre, basically.
Yeah. For me, it's like any genre. I mean, you could say it's like riding on that nostalgia wave, but I think it's something organic. Like,
Yes.
I would never knock vaporwave. Like, vaporwave sounds cool as fuck.
No, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's a reconstruction that's different. You know, like how our modern version of the 50s really isn't very much like what the 50s was actually like.
Yeah, no, of course.
Like,
Yeah. Because people don't like to look at the ugliness of what was going on in any decade. They like to cherry pick the cultural.
Sure, or they like to say, well, look, this thing was bad in the 50s and it's good now, and it's like it's actually really mixed.
For me, it's just like there's
the difference is actually very minor.
Yeah, for me, it's just like I like some shit and I don't like some shit. If it's got like a problematic past, and I acknowledge it, but it depends how you toy about with it. It depends on you. But for me, I know who I am.
I think that there's good music in all genres. Like I was saying at the very beginning of this interview, I said I'm not like a big rap fan, but I
there's
can
no
recognize
bad genres.
Yeah.
There's
no
not
bad
bad genre. There's
no
only bad songs.
There's only bad songs. There's only maybe bad artists, but certainly bad songs.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I would put it slightly the other way around, where I would say there are amazing songs from every genre.
Yeah.
Whatever you might like, whether it's metal, whether it's rap, whether it's electronic music.
As a DJ, I know for a fact that I can pick a tune from any genre, and if I pick the right one, you're there.
Yes.
And that's the thing people neglect about DJing, is that at the end of the day, is song selection and knowing music.
Yes, yeah.
Which is what I apply to making music as well, and my decisions of why I do that. Like going back to why I choose the words, why I choose the song to be here. It's DJing. It literally is. It's like, because DJing is about knowing tunes and knowing how people react to it. It's a live reaction.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
People who start out as DJs, specifically in like hip hop or rave or whatever genre, like they go on to make great music. Who are DJs like Dr. Dre? Dr. Dre was a DJ. And not everyone. Like I said, exceptions to the rule. There are some people who are just naturally gifted producers and naturally gifted DJs who don't go on to produce stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like,
Yeah,
DJing gives you a good template on what makes a good song.
I understand that. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, you know which choruses people love. You know which. She says, "Hell yeah." she no, what was I gonna say? Like, you know when there are some songs that have a billion plays on Spotify.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like Mr. Brightside by the Killers or something. It's like, or like Kiss. I was made for loving you. Something like that. It's just, it's so catchy. It's so within people's mind. It's so a good expression of how people feel.
The thing is about a lot of them songs as well is that it's just a cultural thing where, like, if they're shoved in your face enough, you will know them. Like there are some songs out there that no one knows that if they're shoved in people's faces, and like, for example, like a Little Green Bag from like became a popular song because it's in Reservoir Dogs.
Right.
Because it has that image attached to it, and it has the soundtrack in it. Like their songs on soundtrack.
Mr. Pink, why I gotta be Mr. Pink?
Like soundtracks to some films have made some really obscure songs very popular, because when songs get attached to certain things, they get big. A fashion movement, a scene in a film.
I really want, just going back a bit, I really want to know, from the samples in your music, are any of them from real fights that you've seen and you've recorded?
Not that I saw recorded.
Okay.
One of them is
one of them.
There's in the whole album. There's only two that are. I mean, I'm probably lying, but there's two that are real. One of them's local. One of them's just some random video I found.
But even the ones that are scripted, they're kind of based on real stuff.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Growing up and you see this shit, and that's how it is.
I love how the album ends as well. We just listened to the album before this, so and it's my second time listening to the whole thing. I think third time listening to some of the songs, and Sorry, Tatiana says, do you think music now struggles to be as great because people are too focused on going viral rather than appealing to a niche? I think that there's some real truth to that, and I'll tell you
I
why.
think also it's people's niches. Like right now, you can be in a niche subgroup and it be cool. It's not like before where it was a struggle, which has got good and bad to it. But that's where everything's kind of like. I don't want to use the word homogenized because I feel like I'm
Yes.
using the wrong word.
No,
in that
I
place,
think it's
but it's like
about right.
yeah, everything now is just so split apart and so separate. You know.
Well, I think people have this idea of what going viral is as well, where people think that going viral is that you have something controversial, but it's ambiguous, and then you got some kind of idea. Da, da, da. But you can have all of those things and not go viral because for whatever reason people don't share what you do. I ran into this really early with this YouTube channel, where it's like, am I going to make a video that's like clickbait? Or am I going to just put my actual thoughts into a video? It's like, well, obviously, I'm just going to say what I really think and hope that it kind of goes well and people resonate with like just like the authenticity of it. Because this idea of like trying to go viral, you can't try to go viral. It makes no sense. You know, going viral is something random that kind of happens if you have good luck. But trying to go viral is like to me just sounds crazy, you know, in a way. It's like so fake. Like you can't try and go viral. It doesn't make sense. You have to just do what you really want to do.
It's just luck and who sees.
And it corrupts who you are. If you're chasing if you're chasing it, it's actually what it really messes with your. I think it even messes with your identity. Because if you've got this idea of like,
it's
I'm an
the same with
artist,
chasing fame, though, isn't it? It's the same with chasing anything that's a buzz. It will fucking strip your humanity away, like layer by layer.
I agree.
Like it's anything. When people talk about these little things that go on in like the world, like half the time it's just like, well, you can apply the same thing to a million other different things.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's human behavior. It's like people go out and chase shit because they're trying to find meaning.
Yeah, it's why I think this might be a little bit of a controversial point, but when people talk about like possession or demon possession, and I think about that in terms of like drug addiction, where the drug is actually in control of you and you're in the passenger seat of your life, because really you've been manipulated by the drug to just chase that. And it's the same thing if people are obsessed with sex or if they're obsessed with gambling or money or whatever thing it is. It's really the same shit. It's some kind of possession, some kind of. By possession, I don't mean that the literal devil is like the spirit who's like, whoa.
There's just a lot of hollowness to existence. You've got to fill some holes.
Well, that's what the Buddhists say. The Buddhists say that at the very end of whatever analysis you want to do about what it means to be human, there is this emptiness, this like, well, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what it means to be human. You can choose. You can choose.
Yeah. And when I talk about, like, especially with this, or anything I'm ever going to make, it's the whole point of, like, we are literally on a fucking rock in the middle of a universe.
Flying through space.
Yeah, that is ever expanding and one day is just going to disappear.
Yeah, we've got this thin layer of air that we can breathe that's around the planet. Like it's actually kind of precarious.
Yeah,
like the moon lost it, the Mars lost it.
I think the reason why people behave the way they do is because I think people deep down inside know full well that everyone who's meant to be at the controls isn't really at the controls.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
No one's really at the controls. It's all like just
no. Oh no way! Like we've got this government I'm not talking about the Labour government. I'm talking about any government. They think that they're in control of the people. They don't know what they don't know
what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing.
That's why people that's why the thing throughout human life is the status of becoming rich and having some sort of power is a mainstay throughout all of human history. Is because there's such an emptiness to just fucking existing.
Because we're all gonna die at some point, and
it freaks you the fuck out.
People think that having power or having riches means that you can control that.
Yeah, and if you believe in a religion, you can believe you're a good person.
Or that you'll come back to life and you'll go to heaven where everything's perfect, unlike here, which just coincidentally happens to be the place that we know exists.
Brother.
And the place that's ideal happens to be the place that we don't know exists.
And
trust us, you'll go there.
The real scary thing about existence is knowing we need religion simply for the sake of the fact that there's a lot of people, if they didn't have it, they'd be going off the fucking rails.
I think religion helps because it's like a operating system. You can't if you had to program every single thing you wanted to do on your computer and you were typing like, oh, function this and like, whatever, that would take forever. So you've got this operating system that says like click on the window. It's like, what's the window? Well, it's a little bit like following the Ten Commandments. It's like, well, if you don't kill anyone and you don't rape
Yeah.
anyone, you don't do anything horrible, and you
Yeah.
respect your parents and stuff like that, whatever they might have done to
Yeah.
you. I mean, unless they've done something really horrible,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
But
completely.
you know what I mean? Like, if you just follow those rules, generally you're going to be all right, even if it's not true. It
Yeah.
actually doesn't matter if
Well,
it's true.
that's the thing is like I think I have a moral compass. I know what I think's right. and
I
wrong.
know you have a moral compass.
But the trouble is that like even though like I might think I'm right at the end of the day, even if it is that right, is it like there's no fucking thing behind it inherently saying that it is right or wrong. I just know it's right or wrong because of how
Jupiter doesn't care, right?
No,
The
it's
next
because
stars doesn't care.
what's right or wrong. It depends on how it emotionally and physically affects
And
you.
maybe like how it affects other people.
And you know completely.
Yeah,
Completely. And you
I
do have to
agree.
keep it in mind because at the end of the day, no one's going to be.
Well, look, there's some people that say being gay is wrong, and they think it's wrong because it doesn't make babies. But then it's like,
That's
well,
just stupid. That
if-
ties
if-
into what I said about people need existence. Homophobia is just people's fear of death.
yes, right. Yes, it is.
It's
Yes, it
people's fear of
is.
death, and it's that
Yes, it is.
uncomfortable.
Wow.
And then the other thing about homophobia is literally just people's fucking fear of like. And most of the time when people talk about homophobia stuff, they're on about man on man action. And the trouble with the patriarchy,
Yeah, they like to have two girls with them.
yeah. But the trouble is with what the patriarchy will make you think is because of how it
What
tries-
is the patriarchy? That's my. What is
it's a
that?
gun to your fucking head when you're born.
I understand it's kind of this phrase that it means like, well, the family name is passed through the father's line,
So,
and the father is
brother,
the head of the
Brother,
house.
it's a gun to the fucking head.
I'm not sure that the father is the head of the house anymore, though. Sometimes I think the mum is often then the head of the
But
house.
this is what I mean. Is it means fucking nothing because you can put people in the system, but people are still gonna like
They're going to be themselves, right?
people are gonna be themselves,
Yeah. That's
even if
very
they're
true.
still living by it. You can live by it and be yourself.
I think we're patriarchal in the sense that we tend to think that men doing something physical is more important than women doing something emotional.
Brother, it's all
But
status.
emotions are super important.
It's status.
Status, yes.
Patriarchy is all about status.
We've got this thing in us called the dominance hierarchy, which is about the level of serotonin you've got and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
And that is what keeps me up at night,
really,
honestly.
wow.
Having too much power and being evil to motherfuckers is just like
If you had a lot of power, I often think about this. Like, if I had loads of money,
I'll kill myself. I couldn't do it.
well, I don't know about that, but if I had loads of money, I would certainly not buy a fucking island to do that Epstein shit.
No.
What the hell is
If I had a
wrong with
load of
these
money,
people?
I mean, like, I don't care what anyone thinks, but personally, if I had a load of money, it's going back into the community, and I mean, it's keeping,
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's keeping me afloat.
Or
I want a house, and I want to fucking be able to eat, live, and
Or
like.
you'd want to start a business that helps people, or that maybe
Yeah.
helps to distribute
Yeah.
like music.
The
Or
only
helps
reason,
to
the only reason
have a
I have,
culture.
the only reason I have any fucking want for fame is simply just so I can have control of making sure shit happens.
Oh, I've
for
got
other
this
people.
weird thing where I love making music, I love making videos, but I don't like being famous. So I'm anonymous
Fame
in
doesn't bother
everything
me.
I do. You know?
Fame doesn't bother me. But
Yeah.
that's just how I am as a person.
I don't think I'm at a point where I can say I'm famous, but like I no, definitely not.
There's going to be aspects about it I fucking despise. Like I'm not, no way, no doubt.
I've had the experience of walking through someone and someone comes up to me and says, "Oh, I love your song," and I
Brother,
don't know who that is.
Brother,
You must have had that.
Brother, I go to raves in London, and I have, actually no, London, Bristol. I've gone free parties, random places, and I have people come up and be like, "Greedy G," and they'll name like a song, and it's it's one of them.
I'm so straight to the packet, never fucking sleeps.
literally, like, and it for me, it's just a good feeling because it's like, okay, this could go somewhere. People are latching onto it. If anything, my whole goal is literally, I just want to make it busy around here. At the end of the day, I want my own shit. I want my own house, and I want to live nice and be able to buy weed and fucking records. And
well, buying weed is morally wrong. Don't you know that? Because it's illegal.
Yeah, but fuck. Whatever. But
that's another thing I don't understand. Like, whatever you do literally, if you smoke weed, the only real effects are inside your head. And if you don't go crazy and start killing people, why is it wrong? Like, why is it wrong to have control over your own mind?
Tax.
It's literally not wrong.
Tax.
Yeah, but
tax, and
the,
then also just. the
can I just
government.
say the conservative politicians, there are several of them who own really important shares in weed farms, legal weed farms, and they sell this weed to different parts of Europe where it's legal and stuff like that. And they make fucking loads of money. They make loads of money. And if it was legal, they would have competition.
There you go.
And that's why it's legal.
There you go.
Because apart from that, no one cares.
There
No
you
one
go.
cares if you smoke weed.
No.
The police don't care. The
Please don't-
police caught me
please couldn't give a
smoking
fuck.
weed, and they said, "Could you please move away from the street?" This was in London. Could you
Brother,
please move
that-
away from the
that's
street and
what I
go
mean.
to that park?
Brother, that's
Just go
what I
to
mean.
that park. It's fine.
Brother, Jakes could not give a fuck. And half the time is also because they're like, I'm not going out to go do some kidding for a 10-bit unless you're like a new kid on the block sort of thing. If you're like a new officer, like nicking a kid for a 3-5 is like fucking taking your first hit of heroin.
The police came to my house once because I had a bit of a mental breakdown, and I said to them like, "Oh, I smoke marijuana occasionally," and they didn't say anything. They didn't say like, "Right, we're going to search your room."
Mm.
They said, "Oh well, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. You're going to be all right, mate."
Yeah, but then also another thing
The
is
police
that's
don't care
just,
that
that's
it's
just
illegal.
English police. Like
Mm.
they're like the English police are schizophrenic. They will switch like that. They can go from just being so nonchalant and then suddenly they'll have you in a headlock. And
What do you think about this stuff about people being arrested over like Twitter posts and Facebook posts?
I was just if anything for me, it's just as a product of the time. It will
Yeah.
die off in the next 10 years. It's not something I'm personally worried about unless I get made the example. But I don't have Twitter, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and I'm presuming that you don't go around saying like, "Oh, the Packies need to go home" or something.
That ain't nothing. Like I'm so far away from that.
And in Soham, it doesn't even matter. We don't have any problems about ethnic conflict or something here.
I mean, we live in a rural town, so there is racism is here, but it's
But it's abstract, It's not because we have actual people here who are maybe like doing something wrong.
No, there's the thing though, like what, like like the tactics of capitalism, how it ties into white supremacy is insidious. So it's there when you don't even realize it. And
Do you think that's because Europe is the place that developed capitalism? So we've got this ideal of like, well,
and it's also because we did a long campaign of dehumanizing people who weren't the same color as us. So you put that in.
That's
people,
true.
You put that in people for 400 years, they're going to start looking at shit funny.
The only way that we could justify what we were doing in India, or indeed the slave trade, which, to be honest, I am actually very proud that Britain ended the slave trade, and I'm very proud that we went to war against 5 countries.
Fun fact: the slave trade, when it ended over here, one of the dudes who ended it lived in Salem. Bernardo Equarado.
Oh, I knew that. I learned that.
Yeah,
he lived in
Salem. Yeah. Salem, one of the
incredible
slave trade abolitionists. He lived in Salem and he married a girl from Salem and then lived in Fort. He's buried in Salem, he's buried in church in Salem.
In the main church in the middle of town.
Yeah, not the one with the main church down
the cemetery
down Fordham Road.
Yeah.
Granddad's.
That's the nicer church. It feels like you go to the main church.
Your church there. There's a little chapel, I think, but that's better.
It's a chapel, yeah. But it's like it's got this raven and like this old gas lantern type thing, and it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think like in general, we have this sense of like okay, so I am against uncontrolled immigration because I do think that there are criminals from abroad who want to come in, but I'm also against like the racism that we see where people say like all immigrants are bad. Like my girlfriend's an immigrant. I'm in love with an immigrant.
The trouble with that is when you attach it to immigrant, when you realize that if people are coming over from other countries and committing crimes, it's the same as anyone coming from this country and going over.
If I was to go to Argentina and be caught committing a crime, I'd get sent back here.
Brother, all it is just like there's a statistic that they've inflated to be this big problem, and it isn't a problem. Like the statistic of like people who come from other countries, because it's a lower, like the general population of immigrants who come here are all, don't commit crimes.
There's a lower level of crime than the natives.
I'm going to have a hard time wording it, but like if they were like the general population, the level of criminality would be like the same as ours.
Yes.
So like it's nothing to do.
There's a cultural difference as well, where people, people have these family structures, and we find that weird. We get scared of that.
There is, but there isn't. I don't think it's that much of an overlap because if you look at the statistics here, sexual violence is still committed by fucking white fellas constantly. So
Right.
like I personally, for me, is like bringing the conversation
It's
of like,
like-
oh, it's going to bring criminality over is like it's nothing, because it's like there's plenty of criminality here. You're going to get it because you're getting humans inject. It's because they're just human.
Humans
It's
will do
nothing.
that.
It's nothing. It's like, oh, because of their cult. Like, okay, there might be certain elements to it, but I don't think it plays like
No,
this.
no. I think the
I
main
don't think it
problem
plays
is
into it as like
the-
people
the-
like to make out.
the main problem is, I think I agree with you, but I think like when it comes to like basically you can imagine, like, because we have racists here, there are also racists in other countries.
Racism's everywhere.
Racism's everywhere. So sometimes racists come
if
here.
you do like most countries have been to war. If you want to start a war, you've got a good recipe for racism.
Yeah, absolutely,
Like,
absolutely. And this is the thing with
people
like the
still-
Afghanistan.
Yeah, people still go to fucking Germany now from England and walk around there and do football chants about we won. Like
Yeah.
it's the same shit.
Yeah. I saw a football chant from Israel where they were saying like, I don't know what it is in Hebrew, but it was something like, all the children in Gaza are not chanting because they're all dead. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah.
Like,
And at
I'm
the end
not
of the
saying I
day,
support Hamas,
you
but
can
I don't
attach-
support that either.
You can attach the identity and the cultural shit to it, but at the end of the day, it's all humans trying to live and make meaning of their existence.
And if the main problem that we had was Boris Johnson, because Boris Johnson started an immigration system where they weren't checking people for whether they were already a criminal. So lots of people who were already
the thing
criminals.
is, though, is that like
come
how can you keep hold of like not everyone's going to get like a criminal record. He could be a wrong un.
That's true.
Like at the end of the day, I'm not,
And that includes white people. We all know that.
That's what I mean.
We
So
know
at
that.
the end of the day, I'm not worried about any fucker coming into this country and committing a crime because it could be committed by my fucking neighbour. I don't give.
Well, I would say if someone's already a criminal and they're trying to come in, the government should probably say no.
Yeah, well, yeah. If they know, then fucking right.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
at the end of the day, immigration and things like that are good for the economy. Like
They can be, yeah. They
like
can be.
it's
More people doing more stuff.
But we need it though. We need it.
It depends on who
like-
it is, because some people come in and they don't contribute to the economy, and some people do, and the government doesn't know how to tell the difference. We've got a very stupid government.
Well, can anyone tell the difference? So at the end of the day, it's like if people are running from war-torn countries that have probably been affected by missiles we fucking sold to the fucking.
Well, that's the thing with Gaza.
So that's why I'm just like, immigration is something I don't give a flying fuck about. Let them in.
Why are we talking about this?
Let them in and just let them fucking live. All this bullshit. Like if I was in this country and shit was getting blown up, you're fucking right. I'm fucking hopping on the boat trying to make a better life.
That's it. Oh yeah, I totally understand.
Brother, at the end of the day, most people make up this bullshit. Most immigrants want to be back home. They want to live in their country and thrive.
Yeah.
No one wants to fucking leave their home.
Yes.
So for me, this shit is just like it's nothing.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
I think
I grew up with Polish friends. I grew up with Portuguese friends. I grew up with kids who were running away from countries in fucking Africa that were going through war, countries in the Middle East. Like, I don't give a fuck. People are out here trying to fucking live. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
This whole immigration shit is just nothing but to get some fucking votes in.
Yes.
No,
I think the only problem that the right wing has identified correctly is that we don't seem to care about people who come here who are already criminals, who continue to be criminals. We just treat them the same. But that's only like 1% or something. That's only
it's such a low percentage that I don't give a fuck. Because what is the difference to like fucking some old boy who I know who's definitely put something in some old girl's drink? I don't give a fuck.
Yes. Oh, that spiking thing. Oh my god, there's so much of that.
Brother,
I hardly know.
This is why I say rape culture is a thing. I mean, thank God. I always say thank God for my dad. My dad, bless his heart, I've never heard a misogynistic thing came out of his house when I was growing up. So that shit was always alien to me, ever being harmful. I mean, I've grown up in a patriarchal society. There's some shit that's going to be in there. Like I've already said, Grim Reaper was me reflecting on views I used to have. But at the end of the day, everyone can learn something new.
I would agree with that. I would just push back and say, I do think that men and women are different on average, but you can have a really masculine woman or a really feminine man.
This is why this don't matter.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
This is why I don't give a fuck. People just need to fucking live and stop doing this whole fucking
Yes.
trying to one up each other.
Yes, I
Like
agree with that.
like that is why people go out and do crazy shit because everyone's trying to one up each other.
When you make music or you make, I know you've got a lot of ideas for films,
Mm,
but when you make music, certainly, and maybe make films,
mm.
do you think about the message that you're trying to push, or do you
course.
think more about like, I don't know, like representing your own experience?
It's both. Because why the fuck would I go out and try to talk about someone else's experience? I can only talk about my experience.
Mhm.
Like at the end of the day, I can have some empathy and maybe talk about it here and there. But I like, for an example, if I wanted to do a case study on, let's say, a woman, like there are going to be ins and outs about being a woman. I'm not going to know because I'm not a woman.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's something that needs to be taken into consideration.
Something I talk about a lot on my channel is I try and make the argument like men don't have it worse, women don't have it worse. There are disadvantages and advantages to being both. And like for example in dating,
I know what you're
like
saying.
guys will say, "Well, I'm an incel. I haven't had a date in 5 years, and
Yeah,
it's
no.
just because I don't earn £1 million
Yeah,
a
no,
year or something."
yeah.
And it's like, no, no, no. It's because you're not charming and you're not fun. Like, that's a part of it.
Well, that
But
there's
then
so
women,
much more to it.
women have this problem of like, well, I have 10,000 people trying to date me, and I have no idea which one of them is
Brother, it's-
not a cunt.
Yeah, brother, it's
Which one of them is not terrible?
patriarchy and it's snakes in the grass.
Well, see, I think it's patriarchy and it's matriarchy. It's kind of both.
It's
You've got this
it's snakes in
mixture.
the grass. Though I don't blame women for being cautious
Mm.
for what I've seen.
No, no
What
way.
and basically what this whole
I
album's
agree.
about. Grim Reaper is literally just being like, look, the fellas need to probably take this a bit because in the album is like it's a breakup album. It is literally like it's a weird album where it's like I'm criticizing like these real world like systems we live under, but I was on the receiving end of the abuse.
Yes, right. That's totally possible. You can be a man who's being abused by a woman. Like that exists.
Yeah, it's something that needs to be addressed, and because of how we're set up, it don't get addressed, and that's why I don't also side with the
People, do you think
men's
that-
right activist sort of people.
Yeah,
Because I don't trust it. I don't trust it one bit.
People think that just because you're saying that, you're also saying that women don't have problems or something like that.
No,
No
the
one's
whole-
able to say there's
You've just
problems
listened
of
to the
both.
album. I've literally spoken about how like this shit has happened and how like everyone will ignore it. Like the
Mhm.
shit that keeps me up at night is like the
I-
shit some old girls I'm tight with who have told me shit, and it is fucking harrowing, and it needs to be
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
face
yeah.
of everyone because it is not. It's
I agree.
serious.
I think like men face a lot of emotional manipulation about money. Like I have a friend whose I have a friend whose wedding was just cancelled because the woman decided he didn't have enough money. But
Brother, that's capitalism.
it is, but at the same time,
It's classism as well, but
it's class. It's more. I think it's more classism because she was like, I don't want to give away too much because I think he's probably watching right now, or he's going to be watching in the future. But like, this lady was from another country and she was from the upper class of that country. And when she realized that he wasn't like an aristocrat with $1 billion, £1 billion in his bank account, she just broke up with him.
That's one of them things where it's like you can look at it as like it's a different thing.
But women get. I was just gonna say, but women get beaten up. Women get raped in a way that men just don't.
No.
Men get fucked over financially. Men get fucked over emotionally.
And
they don't get physically beaten up in the same way.
That's what's horrific about
Not often. Sometimes.
because it just feels like I don't want to say it because I know a lot of strong old girls out there, but it feels like people raise women to be pacified, and so and it just leads to this shit happening. But I don't want to say that either because I know plenty of strong women who turn around and fucking walked away from that shit like it was nothing.
Yes, but
It's something I
sometimes
don't
there's
think
a
we
thing where like the man is looking after the woman financially or something, and
Brother,
she can't walk away.
It's one of these things where it's like it's an infantilization thing. People love to infantilize women, and it's gross.
Yeah,
But then
I keep seeing this thing on Twitter of people saying like, "Well, women are just children." Like they're just big
gross.
children.
No, it's
like,
gross.
what's wrong with you?
It's
do you know any women?
It's just gross. Like,
sometimes I think women are more mature than men, actually, on average.
I don't think it's they're more mature. I just think they see through the bullshit more.
Do you think that they see through like male dominance hierarchy posturing of like, look how many times I've been?
Yeah, there's a lot of women who
They're
see
like,
through that. That's why women. That's why
Like,
men
go
get
away.
rejected. Men get rejected because women don't like the fake bravado. But no one likes that.
Yes,
No one
macho,
likes that.
macho.
As a man, I don't like the bravado of a fake woman.
Okay.
So it goes both ways. It isn't this thing where it's, I mean, it comes out in different ways, but it isn't like this fucking. It is just an example of how we're socialized. Men and women are socially conditioned to be a certain way, and it fucks us over. This is why I said when men and women are born, you're born with a gun to your head. You have to act a certain way. If not, you're invalid.
Me and my girlfriend are quite weird, where I do think I'm quite feminine, and she's quite masculine in a sense. She's very driven. She's very like, she's very.
But then, what is masculine and feminine? What is
Well, there's a book
and that's what I
about
mean.
that called Sexual Persona, which is about 50 hours long if you listen to it as an audiobook, and
Yeah.
it's very much worth your time.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a video about that book. It's such a good book. But it tells you what masculine and feminine really is and how like there are constructs, but they're biological as well. But
There's
we have to be
biological
aware of
elements
them.
to it, but the with being a good person, I think is just balance.
And
you have to recognize what the fuck you are.
There's enough variation where a woman can be very masculine or a man can be very feminine.
Like I said,
Like,
it just
we're
don't
like-
matter because it just depends.
We should
How
just
people-
respect each other, you know?
At the end of the day, yeah, but like it's not as easy as that because there's just all this bullshit that goes on that prevents people from doing it that quick. Culturally and societally, like it's all there. It's such a fucking dark pit of shit that it's just hard to climb out of.
Do you think individualism or being yourself is more important than being a perfect woman or a perfect man or like big strong man or like
It's not
whatever?
about being a man or woman. It's being about just being a good fucking person that takes responsibility of their shit.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do.
I
As a
agree.
person, take responsibility for yourself and show yourself self-love. But at the end of the day, you've got a community to take care of. You know what it is for me? You've read Inspector Calls. Everyone's read. If you went to school, like I love Inspector Calls.
Mm-hmm.
It is literally like the basis for everything I do.
Have you read To Kill a Mockingbird? Did
No,
you
I
read that?
haven't,
No, okay,
No,
yeah.
I know what it's about, but
Yeah.
Inspector Calls at the end. Inspector Calls says a great thing. We are all responsible for each other.
Yes.
And I take that to fucking heart. Like there are people out here, you need to help one another. Like as hippie as and Bible as that fucking sounds from a fucking moody little nihilistic bastard like me. Like at the end of the day, I'm only nihilistic because at the end of the day, we're not looking out for each other.
So you're not actually nihilistic. You think that people are nihilistic. You think that people
No,
don't care.
I am nihilistic because people neglect the fact.
What does nihilistic mean to you?
Lack of meaning.
But you have meaning.
I have meaning, but it's like nihilism is like it's sort of like existentialism is being like realizing that everything's sort of just constructed for me. Like I don't like putting myself in the nihilist category as much. For me, I'm just more like I am just me.
Mhm.
Like you could put most terms to anyone through a certain lens.
Sure. Yeah.
But like
You could.
but like for me, it's just like I'm existing, and I'm just like I want to make sure I'm in a good state. Like I'm starting therapy soon.
Are you?
Yeah, because like I feel like
Me too, actually. Well, I had a bit of a emergency therapy a couple of months ago, and I'm gonna have 3 more sessions about that.
People need this shit.
I'm actually happy, but I do think it's still good for you.
No, you need it because you grow up through bullshit. You like you were saying. You and Stan were on about the school system. Everything you're saying about the school system's right. You're growing up in an authoritarian sort of system.
Yeah.
And that is school. It is authoritarian. It's not fucking Nazi Germany, but it's not good for you.
Well, when I look at the Reform Party and I look at, for example, the libertarians in Argentina, I just think the Reform Party are authoritarian right wingers. They are. They believe in authority and they believe in the right.
And I'm not for it. Is people need to it's all well and good me being like people need to exist, but we live under these systems that just prevent it. But you can always improvise and figure out a way. Like, I mean, I'm saying I need therapy, and like you hear this album, and it sounds like I've got problems, but at the end of the day, I'm sat on my sofa, I'm chilling, and I've got good friends around me. I've got good mates around me. I'm going out, I'm playing gigs.
The album you wrote is an expression of the problems in the town. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going through your head every single day because you've expressed it.
Well, it does. I mean, it does go through my head.
Okay.
not in the same form. It just takes different forms. It's
Yes.
different extensions of it.
You're reflecting rather than experiencing it.
Yeah.
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 I love your second album, by the way. I actually think that the two of them work very, very well
Even though the
together.
second album's just like 4 demos and a few beats.
No, I know, but I can see what you're going for. It's much more chill. It's like kind of the other side of the coin. I think you said that actually. Other side of the coin.
The second, I'm going to talk too much about the second album because we're well off, but it's one of these things where it's still got all the greedy elements of this aggressive and there's like I hate everything sort of shit to it, but it's way more chill and we're gonna like smoke a joint and go to a motive and like try to chirp an old girl and see where we go from that, like that. That's the whole vibe of it.
It's like after the big problems.
Yeah.
Hey, we're nearly reaching the point where we should probably stop. But I want to ask you about because you told me before about your ideas about movies, and I'm really interested in that because. Well, I got in a bit of controversy really because recently because I told I told a few different stories using AI to animate the film, and I thought and people were saying like, why using AI? Well, because I'm not rich. Like if I was rich and I could afford to have a film crew and stuff, I'd make it with a film crew. I really would. I really would. Um, but it's like, well, this wouldn't exist otherwise. So I'm just using AI to animate like a story from history or something.
Yeah.
But that got me interested in, I was thinking a bit about your ideas about movies. If you had, here's my question, my last question probably. If you had £10 million, what movie would you make? Which one? One movie, or maybe you could make two, if you really want to get out of the question. But the question is one movie.
The trouble with that is a lot of my films are very kitchen sink. Like there are some grandiose ideas. I think the only one I can think of is I always wanted to do this film about neurodivergence, but I wanted to do this sort of thing where it was like the threat of like neurodivergence going through a genocide. And I wanted to use it as like a thing to look at just how in general, like not as like people who are neurodivergent are going to go through that, but just more like how that could happen, because how easily as a race, as a species, we will group and categorize people and then go through with big atrocities like that.
It makes us a lot more comfortable, doesn't it, to say, well, that's them and we're us.
Yeah, and that's what I want to explore through it, but explore it through the eyes of neurodivergence, because there's a lot of history with like how the disabled and how the neurodivergent have been treated. Like it's not on the scale of like maybe like black people, or on the scale of maybe your Aborigines or like
Jewish people in World War II.
or Native Americans. Like
yes, oh my God,
it's one of these things where it's just like I think it's an ugly thing to say, but it becomes an innate human experience because humans have a tendency in their hierarchies and their systems to go along and do atrocities like that, because people have this tribalism about them. I mean, personally, I try to strip, because like I said, the good thing about if you want to be a good person is balance.
Yes.
And it's trying to execute those tribalistic instincts about you, but also having a balance with it, because it is one thing to have a community that's yours and you take care of and you defend, but it's another thing to then go persecute another community because of it. And life, I think, is right in that line.
Yes. Well, we see Trump saying recently, like, he wants to cure autism and get rid of autism.
Shit like that. Exactly. There's elements of it there, but it's not Rwandan genocide where they're coming to my house and they're going to cut me to pieces.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's
right. That's a good example because it's happened both ways. The blacks going after the whites and the whites going after the blacks, and it's just like, well, this doesn't help anyone.
Yeah. I mean, there's privilege involved. There's all sorts. There's so many elements involved. Like intersectionality is a real thing, even though it's like a buzzword where you hear it and you fucking roll your eyes, but it's just
well, look, what I would say about that
fucking intersects.
I want to say about that because I do think that you're right, and I do think that the left wing is right when they talk about that, but they're not necessarily right about the things that they speak about. Whereas, like, imagine this: imagine you're poor, and you're disabled, and you're of an ethnic minority. You didn't choose to be born in this country. Your parents came here. You have such a disadvantage compared to someone who's not poor, not disabled, and not an ethnic
You've got a better advantage of being white and disabled than you have of being like black or brown as disabled.
Yes. Yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
the
I think
fuckery is
that's
about
probably
it.
true. I mean, some companies are trying to make up for that by having
Yeah,
like
but it feels false. It's just like, oh, we
it's
know
very
this.
false. It's
It's,
not
it's
fair
it's like
either.
when they make fucking the Little Mermaid black. They're not doing it because they want black power. They're doing it because it looks good on their repertoire.
I know a girl, a very, very smart lady, really, not girl, a lady, and she very professional IT professional who I know from my previous tech job.
Yeah.
She said to me like, well, I am a feminist, but I don't really agree with the idea that you just remake Ghostbusters, but you make all the characters women.
Well,
Like, that's not
well,
feminism.
the trouble is that like I have no problem with like Ghostbusters with like an all woman.
Sure, but it doesn't advance
But
women's rights.
no, it doesn't. No, and that's when they use it as like it's because it's a crutch. Like a all woman Ghostbusters could have been sick
Sure.
completely.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
could have
yeah.
been absolute fire, and I would have been all for it. But they got Melissa McCarthy. Like she's not funny.
Melissa McCarthy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's the trouble.
It's
It's
like, are
this
you trying to make
forced.
a good movie
It's
or
this
not?
forced, gross 2010s glossy CGI shit, and it doesn't feel like you know what I mean. Like I don't give a fuck. And it's the same with like a woman Doctor Who. Like I have no problem with like a
But why did you get the worst writer in the world?
yeah. You
It's
get
just gonna
Chris
ruin.
Chibnall. He wrote Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. That episode was fucking trash.
He wrote 42, like the one
Like
episode of
that's
David Tennant that
in
people
it.
hate.
That's like the only David Tennant episode that's whack.
Yeah,
And you get that cunt. Like no, like Stephen Moffat's got his problems.
Yes.
You know,
Yes,
but like
yes.
because like I didn't mind the first Matt Smith series, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't mind series 6, but it's got a bunch of problems with it. But like
Yes.
Stephen Moffat is just there's elements to him that's just whack. You know, there's so much whack about Doctor. I mean, we're diverging here, but Doctor Who past season series 6 of Matt Smith is just whack. Like that's when I started watching it, it was turning off. I was like, it's just shit, man. I ain't doing it.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
You know. And you know, it's not even this woke writing shit. It's just not interesting. I'm not engaged. There's nothing about it that looks appealing.
Yeah, when
I
people
just
talk
don't.
about woke, I think what they're saying is they're not saying that they hate the left wing or they hate like
No,
justice.
woke is
They're
just
saying
like
that they
they've
hate
hijacked it.
cheapness. It's cheapness.
It's that is one element to it, but wokeness is like when they've used that word, they've hijacked it because it used to mean a completely different thing.
Yes.
It's hijacked.
Right. It used to mean like, well, the Jim Crow laws are
Yeah,
oppressing like
brother, it's
minorities.
Malcolm X shit, and Malcolm X is the fucking man, but fucking like you know buzzwords, man. People spin shit, and it just turns into these gross, ugly fucking words I don't want to use because people just embarrassing fucking people use them, and that's what it is half the time. Half the time, the problem with the human race is that it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing that I'm like part of this, and even the people do, and even the people who are part of
I
it,
love you, man.
even the people who are doing embarrassing shit can recognize that other people are fucking embarrassing. You know, it's not one of these things where it's like they think completely different. They're probably thinking the other same shit, just for a different train of
Yes.
thought.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's for a
Yeah,
different
like
train of
people
thought.
people with woke were talking about, well, we think race is important. And now you see the radical right wing saying, well, we think race is important too, but it's the white race.
It's a reaction to people because all it is like if you really want to rework society and get everyone in a really cushy position, we're going to have to do some radical fucking changes, and I don't think anyone's ready for it, and that is why we're struggling with this shit.
Yeah, I think that's part
Like
of
we
it.
have to reform like some real deep shit, and we have to ask some really uncomfortable questions about just our existence to do it, and I don't think people are ready for it, and I don't think we've ever been ready for it since like the thousand millions of years we've been here.
Yes, we've been here a while.
We've never been ready for it. We've never been ready to accept our insidious nature, and that's what I think just holds us back completely.
Well, I agree with that. Do you think like as well, when people say that they're doing something out of kindness, sometimes what they're actually doing is something that's egotistical.
Yeah, no, of course, of course. I even question myself about that when I do think I'm doing good things.
I tell you what I do. When I do a really good thing and I think, wow, that was so heroic, I want to
Yeah.
tell everyone. I don't tell anyone.
No, I like,
There's certain things that I've done
yeah.
that are good that I've never told
I
anyone.
like to think I don't either. I like because for me, genuinely, I would prefer if I did good things and no one knew I did. I fucking did it. The only part of it where I'd be like, I wouldn't mind if someone brought it up in an interview like 50 years later, and that's it. But like apart from that, it's,
I'll tell you a small one. I saw a cigarette on the floor in a children's playground, and I walked past it and I thought I could put that in the bin. fuck it, why not? It was the middle of the night, no one was there, no one saw this, and I went and just put the cigarette in the bin.
Yeah.
I've done other stuff that would be more show offy if
Yeah.
I told it.
For me, like
But
personally, that's just like that's a real little thing. For me, I think great change is when you can like take someone's like mind state and
yes,
make them be at peace with themselves.
I'll
Like,
tell another one.
I think that's something we need to achieve. Not picking up litter. I think we need a
Back when I used to earn a lot of money, I knew this homeless guy, and I knew he was a good guy. He wasn't doing drugs or anything like that, where people say don't give money to homeless people who are doing drugs.
yeah.
They're fucking homeless. I don't care if they
Bro,
do
if
drugs.
I'm
Like,
just gonna say it right now, if I've got loose change on me, sometimes I will just give it to the old boy, the old girl.
no, but I used to give this guy £30 a week, and he used to be able to live quite well off of that relatively. And he eventually got a job, and
Yeah.
he eventually sorted himself out. And I felt it's not like the most. It's not the most charitable thing I've ever done, but it was a charitable thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell anyone about that until now,
Yeah.
when I'm telling potentially hundreds of people. It's like, I guess maybe it's not the right time.
Yeah.
But I decided to not tell any. This was years ago, but I decided to not tell anyone because I thought if I tell someone, that's affecting my motivation. That's making me want to show off.
For me, someone's that shit don't even pop my mind. I just do it, and then it's just
Yeah,
that. Like you know,
totally.
for me, at the end of the day, is I'm just me. It's just like you know,
I agree, man.
people are struggling out here.
I'm hoping to end by playing a song that I wrote, which is 1 minute. That it's not. I didn't write it. It's Ali G. It's Ali G. I made a song out of things that Ali G said. That's quite funny. I thought we'd
That's
use.
jokes.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's one of the catchiest songs I've ever written, which is a bit annoying. There you go. I mean, do you have anything you want to? I mean, let me just. I'm just gonna double check
There's
my
any
questions.
questions you missed, like about the album and shit, right?
Yeah, I think I did miss a couple. Let's see. Um, so my questions were: tell me about Fenland bass. How has your background in Soham influenced your music? What's your relationship like with the people in town? Samples versus music that you've written. Were the altercations scripted? In between the songs on this album, there are like these things like, "Oh fuck you, mate! What are you doing? Talking shit to me!" Like these like things that sound real.
Mm.
What other influences do you have? Tell me about power words like angel dust, what you doing climbing Jacob's ladder,
Mm.
no place is safe, fuck mates, date tapes,
Yeah.
date rapes, gate crash, safe space, human race. Tell me about your favorite movies, and if you had a budget of 10 million, what movie would you make? Those are all my
Yeah,
questions.
we've covered them all then.
Do you
Yeah.
have anything you want to add to that?
Savage Streets is here to do the hardcore funk. You better be fucking in tune, I tell you that. I ain't fucking about when it comes to this fucking Fenland shit, this East of England shit, this beggar shit, this Savage Street shit, this Greedy G shit, full stop. That's the view. That's all I've got to say to the viewers is I'm dead fucking serious about all this shit.
He is.
Because I'm from the Fens, it ain't gonna be no novelty. Like, oh, I'm rural and shit. Like, no, I'm dead. Like, for me, this is like straight out of Compton. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm dead fucking serious about all this shit, man.
I know
Even
you
if
are.
I'm
I've
even
known
if
you
I'm
since
out
you were
here being like,
17.
oh, making jokes and shit, but that's just me. But no, I'm dead fucking serious, and that's all I just got to add is like just yeah. I'm not taking them. I am a piss taker and I'm a wind up merchant, but I'm dead fucking serious about it.
Nice. All right. I mean, anything else you want to add, or shall I just go with
No, that's pretty
the
much it.
outro? Yeah, you should check out Greedy G. I think he's going to be on Spotify with the new album.
Yeah, it's on Spotify.
It's going to be on
It'll be
Spotify.
probably on Apple Music, all sorts of shit. So
Any platform you want. Is
yeah,
it DistroKid?
yeah,
Yeah. DistroKid is the best. It's for distribute for musicians who want to put their stuff on all the different platforms that people use. DistroKid is the best. You can find him on there. I recommend you do so. I think he's got a Facebook page.
I mean, I've got my personal but if you really want to follow me on Instagram.
Instagram.
Greedy G, old boy.
Greedy G, old boy. That's right. I'm gonna put the link in the description as soon as I get home in about half an hour, and maybe an hour or something like that. And I hope you all have an excellent evening. And I'm just gonna play this song at the end because I think it's funny. Thank you, everybody. Uh, 2 seconds. Is it this one? I guess so. See if this actually works. Chrome tab, no, window. Okay, bit weird, but let's do that. Yeah, thank you very much. Greedy and I have been friends since we were kids, and I would really appreciate if you follow him, if you um check out his new album. It's really good. I've listened to it a couple of times. It's really quite inspirational and quite profound in what it's talking about, especially because we often think about these issues that different communities are going through and stuff like that. I feel like this album is a reflection on that, and you don't actually have to be from this part of the world. You could be from any part of the world, really. You could probably even be from any country.
Yeah, it's a human experience.
It's a human experience, exactly. And okay, well, I'm gonna share with you a song, and then we are going to head off.
What is it all about? Technology, what is that all about? What is it all about? Technology, what is that all about? Science, what is it all about? Technology.